The detective told his lawyer that during the initial interview with EM on June 22, 2018, the detective said that she did not say that she was, quote, scared, intimidated, or terrorized. She also did not tear up or cry. The detective says that he stressed to EM's mom that the decision to proceed with the investigation should be EM's and EM shouldn't be pressured. The lawyer asked, quote, you already had concerns that she might be pressured by her mom or others to pursue charges, and the detective said, quote, it was a developing concern, yes. He then said while he was off duty on June 24th, 2018, he got a text from EM saying that she had reconsidered and wanted to go ahead with the charges. The next day, they spoke on the phone and EM repeated that to him. The officer said that before interviewing EM on June 26, 2018, that he watched the video from the Delta lobby that made him think that she didn't appear to be so intoxicated that she didn't have the capacity to consent. The lawyer then suggested that the detective told EM that day, quote, there appeared to be a certain level of consent to the sexual activities, and the officer agreed with that. The lawyer then said, quote, and by that you meant that she was telling you was that she was an active participant in the sexual interaction, and the officer said yes. The officer then testified that he asked EM during the interview if she was getting pressure from her family, and EM then told the police investigator that she wanted him to suspend the investigation for the time being with the view to reopening it in the future. And then at some point, the officer told EM that he might not be able to charge the men given what EM had told him about what happened, as well as her level of sobriety and ability to consent. Shortly after that, EM called him and asked for a female investigator. The lawyer then suggested that there seemed to be a connection between the two events. And then also on June 26, 2018, he said that he went to collect the clothes that EM was wearing on the night of June 18th and June 19th and put them in his bags as evidence. The officer then said that he looked at the videos on July 19th, 2018 after he returned from the holidays. The lawyer said, quote, the videos you recognize that they had evidentiary value of the issues of consent and intoxication and capacity to consent, and the officer replied with yes. The lawyer suggested that in early October 2018, he emailed the lawyers for the players to tell them that he didn't have the grounds to lay charges, but he really wanted an in-person interview, and the officer agreed with that. The lawyer asked the officer if he ever asked McLeod about the text messages that might have been sent, and he said that he did not. Alex Trementon's other lawyer then started asking the officer about the investigation, which, quote, had the potential to become a high-profile investigation, which the officer agreed with. He then asked him a couple different questions about the investigation, and at the end he asked, quote, were you being lazy in this case? And the officer responded with no, he was not. The lawyer then started making the point that more players than the officer previously suggested were willing to speak with him, but the lawyer also suggests that none of the players actually had to talk to him. The lawyer said, quote, do you agree that it was surprising that anyone came forward? And the officer said, quote, yeah, it was actually somewhat surprising. I'm happy they did. The rest of the day was the defense lawyers asking the officer various questions about the investigation. If you want to go check it out, I would implore you to go read CBC's Daily Live article. They give a very good breakdown of everything that happened. I just don't have time to go over them in all of these videos.